Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. I'm here with Micah, who is the co-composer of Agatha All Along. Also worked on WandaVision, Hawkeye, a load of other great shows and films. So, Michael, could you give us a bit of an introduction into how you kind of got into working on these into this great industry?
Yeah, so I grew up in my dad's a musical teacher and kind of just grew up learning music and loving film and playing different instruments and really just kind of followed this journey all the way out here. And so it's um yeah, I just kind of went down that road and then worked with Christoph Beck. I'm a co-composer on Agatha. So started out assisting with him kind of when I first moved to LA and started getting into the industry, and then worked together on quite a few Disney projects, and kind of over the years have built that up, and now to the point now where um, you know we're able to co-collaborate on these scores and co-write them together, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's cool. And kind of where did the inspiration come from for the sound of Agatha All Along?
Yeah, I think the inspiration for the sound was really when our initial conversations with Jack when we first started was talking about how, this is an opportunity to define what, witches in the MCU and kind of define what magic is. And so we, are inspired by, other witches in pop culture, and there's certain sounds that are evocative of that, like with bells and female vocals and creepy strings and stuff like that. But then we kind of, took that and ran with it. So no another thing that we really focused on too is how this Agatha kind of subverts the superhero sound. And so we really kind of avoided the more traditional heroic instruments like French horns and trumpets, and kind of avoiding like the more classical orchestra, to create something that's a little more, bizarre and alien and unsettling. And I think just really leaning into that sort of creative approach.
Yeah, it's that thing. It definitely kind of sounds a little bit different, but at the same time, one of the things that I really like about the music and about the show is obviously the Ballad of Witches Road is a major part of the story. How did you like incorporate that into sort of the score?
Yeah, incorporating the ballad was really fun. Bobby and Kristen wrote an incredible song that, I still sing all the time. And it was really fun. That was sort of became sort of like a beacon for the whole show. And so what we really did was it was fun because we're passing it around. And so like in the first episode, it opens up with Agatha, driving, and she's literally whistling the tune to herself in the car, and then the score immediately picks it up and we play it on piano, and we kind of just drop these different breadcrumbs throughout. Um, and then by the time we get to episode two and the Coven's actually performing it for the first time, the audience has already heard it, and are familiar with it. And this is just a really fulfilling moment. And then we kind of, keep building on that through subsequent episodes.
Yeah, it's been funny because I've been listening to the album over the last few days. Kind of like I like to do that with interviews and stuff anyway. And I was in the kitchen and I was humming and sort of singing along, and my wife goes, "Why are you singing?" it's like and I was like, I've been stuck in my brain for days. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
get that kind of that earworm with it.
Yeah.
Um, but also you worked on WandaVision, and how did you bring anything over from WandaVision into Agatha to kind of connect the dots?
Yeah, we did. We brought a couple, like main themes or motifs when we really want to make like very specific references back to WandaVision. And so we, like Wanda's theme has this, first three notes that we, kind of sprinkle throughout, when we're, especially as we're kind of going through like Billy's journey and he's understanding his identity and his connection to the past. And then we also, in several other moments, reference like the love theme between Wanda and Vision. Um, and then as well in episode five, when Agatha is encountering the ghost of her mom, then we bring back the theme that we used for Agatha in WandaVision as well, sort of tying back to her trauma with her mom, and like her kind of her background there.
Yeah, it's that kind of cool thing of just like like you say, like subconsciously kind of picking up on those things.
Yeah.
Um, Sort of, you've also worked on another Disney Plus series, Hawkeye. So how was that different, say, for example, from WandaVision and also Agatha?
Yeah, Hawkeye was really fun. I think the what we did, our approach to Hawkeye was like really leaning into the Christmas spirit of it, and it really feels like this big holiday show that's also a Marvel story. And so kind of marrying the like classic superhero Marvel sound with sort of that those Christmas colors. And Agatha, our approach was, it was almost on the surface, it seems like a Halloween show, but we weren't necessarily like trying to like push the Halloween sort of vibes about it. But leaning into like the dark witchiness of it, and like I said earlier, like kind of subverting that superhero sound and sort of approaching it from the opposite way, like kind of backwards almost, and like not challenging expectations and kind of what we're used to in that sort of Marvel universe.
Yeah, it is a great kind of thing how all this comes together. But what's been your biggest highlight working on Agatha all along?
I think for me the biggest highlight is just to be just like the coven of our collaborators. It's such an amazing group of creators and thinkers, and I think we're inspired by the visual world that's already there, the amazing costume designs, the amazing performances, um, and then of course the song as we mentioned, and then really celebrating the womanhood in the story and the diversity on screen and the queer representation. That's something that I think where a lot of people see or feel heard in a way in kind of these bigger stories. And so I think there's something that's really empowering about that, and that we all, as we were working on it, just celebrating that together. And I think Jack and Mary's kind of vision from the get-go was really kind of unifying in that way.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. Can't wait to see the finale this week. And kind of also on kind of the opposite of that, what was the biggest challenge working on Agatha?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I think definitely was keeping it cohesive musically, because like mo a lot of projects, you once you kind of set up the sound palette, you kind of just stay in that or kind of build on that like through the rest of the show. But for this, like each episode, the Coven's going to a different house, a different trial, a different era. And so it's we have to kind of build each one from scratch, and then, take a step back and figure out how to actually make sure they're all interconnected and it doesn't feel like, discombobulating as you're going back and forth. And so that's why we have, very strong themes for Agatha and Billy and Rio and these different motifs that kind of keep everything glued together.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic series. But my final question really is because you've also worked on a number of other projects, including the Ant-Man movies, Frozen 2, and Free Guy. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Um, what other characters would you like from the Disney franchise to potentially kind of, attack in the future?
Oh, good question. I mean, I like, grew up on Disney. And so, I mean, I think like a lot of people like Star Wars, I grew up on the first two trilogies and would play the video games, play Battlefront, play Rogue Squadron. And it's such a furtive like soil for music. It's obviously because of John Williams, and kind of the legacy that he's left. And I think it's a really special thing. And then also love like all the Pixar movies. And I think they're always just really creative and interesting and nuanced, and in a way that's really special. And I think as a composer, as a creator, that's artist, that's something that's really exciting.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for taking your time out to speak to me today. You can watch all of Agatha All Along, along with Hawkeye and WandaVision on Disney Plus now. And again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.